is Stephanie Hardy for Women's and Katrina Blake for Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet, live at LA Comic Con. And we are sitting here with the iconic and the legendary, original, gorgeous lady of wrestling, Hollywood. How are you, ma'am?
I am good. Oh gosh, I'm so glad to meet you guys and see you guys. I'm really good. Thank you.
Yes, we are so honored to sit here, even across from the WoW superheroes. It's almost like, in a sense, it's almost like the past informing the future. And it's a very full circle moment for us to be sitting here with you and in this moment with the present and then also with you informing the past. So what I want to ask you is, when did you decide that wrestling was going to be the thing that you were going to do, for your life?
Right. So I'm 22 years old. And I start training with Mondo Guerrero, and everybody knows the Guerreros. And it's something that it either comes to you or it does it naturally. And for me, it came naturally. So I knew right away they had to, out of like 500 girls, they had to weed out the good ones and the bad ones. And every time I would come back from a training, I'd notice less and less girls. And they needed 12 ladies to do a pilot. I was one of them, but that was the moment where you went, yes, I can do this. And then they name you a character, and then you got to figure out, okay, what does Hollywood do? Exactly. She's a heel, but what is her character? And it's, it's kind of a learning and process thing, but I loved it. As you can see, we're still signing autographs. I do a lot of these conventions, so I know that was a lot that I just said, and you asked me one thing. No. But I've been doing it for so long that,
Yeah, there is no right or wrong answer, to that, so it's perfectly fine. So, Katrina, do you have a question?
Yeah, so again, you are legendary. Women, unfortunately in the wrestling industry, women wrestling isn't always looked at favorably. And I like that we're finally getting to a place where we're seeing more women wrestling, all women promotions. And so for you, especially when you started wrestling, when the time wrestling was kind of iffy about women's wrestling. What is something that a moment from your career that was probably like a top tier moment for you, especially during the time you started? Yeah.
So because we didn't have these, oops, or those, it's okay. Can you edit? Okay, so we can.
Sorry.
Not your fault. Take your time.
Yep, because I can edit it.
Okay. So, because we did not have these cell phones, what we had to rely on was fan mail, and we didn't get a lot of the fan mail, by the way, you guys, but when we went on tour. So when I went on tour, and all of a sudden, I saw all these kids cheering for us, holding signs up for us, wearing their hair, crimping it, wearing whatever necklace that you wear on the show, wearing the paint through your hair, the star. That's the moment and it's the most coolest feeling. I can't explain it to you, but you feel like, yes, oh my God, is kind of like what you feel. Because you don't know. You really don't. Like if you had this would be instant gratification. Oh, I'm on Instagram. Oh my gosh, I have this many followers now? We didn't have any of that. But meeting the fans and seeing the fans, to me, was the #1 way to say, yes, you've done it.
That's... Yeah, Katrina's really, she's really good at asking questions.
Well, you both are.
Yeah, thank you.
You both are great.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, another question that I do want to, ask you in terms of someone who has been wrestling in the past and also from what you've seen in the future, did you have any dream opponents that you wanted to go up against and face back in the day? And did you ever have the opportunity?
Right. I wish we would have had the opportunity. Back then, I wasn't looking at who was the icons before us or the what's the word I use? No, I don't want to call them veterans, but veterans before us, legends. But later in life, I figured, wow, what if I could have wrestled Wendy Richter, or going back, Ida and everyone says Moolah, but I don't know if I want to wrestle Moolah. I think she would have kicked my butt. But I thought about men, like what about Andre the Giant, right? Hulk Hogan. What if I could have wrestled them? And I know I don't know if we've gotten there yet to do that style, but I think I took a grappling class right after Glow, and the grappling class had men and women, and I did not want to grapple with the ladies because I thought, I've already wrestled ladies for 4 years now. Let's wrestle with the men and get better. You know what I mean? And I think it just makes you tougher and better. And I go, don't hold back. So I did a grappling class for a little while, and that taught me a lot. But yeah, if we could have wrestled Andre the Giant, oh my God. I would have lost, of course. They would have picked me up and out you go. Well, I would have tried.
Yeah. And all you can do is try. And ultimately, intergender wrestling is having a little bit of a renaissance, and they're coming back just a tad bit. But maybe we might see more of that in the future in terms of that equal footing. You just never really know.
I'll tell you what, if I started my own company, which I am thinking about doing some stuff in 2023, hopefully we can get that moving. And if we can do that, I would love to add in an intergender wrestling match in there. Why not? I don't think, like you said earlier, there are no wrongs and there are no rights. So why should there be in wrestling? Why can't we move with the times?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you wanted to wrestle in the past, and now again we have so many awesome women currently wrestling. And so if you had like a dream opponent for the current crop of women in the wrestling ring that you could get in the ring with, and even some men, because there's some awesome men, in the ring currently right now, who are like some of those people you would...
Because I'm like, what's their names again? I know what they're wearing. Is that terrible? I know the Wild Ladies, of course, and Lana Star I've known for so long. Go back. I'd love to wrestle her again, but if we could go back, there's one with the purple hair that I just love, and she's so awesome. I'm sorry, you guys are... Yes, that's her.
We love Sasha. She's great.
I do too.
I love her so much.
Right?
Sasha.
So
She's like my favorite.
I love her. She reminds me of a Hollywood today.
Wow.
Well, I watch her, and it's interesting though, if I do go to a wrestling match, I can see right away which ones give the 110%, and that woman gives 110%, and that's what I did in Glow, really to secure my position. I knew right away, you don't do it half-ass, you do 110 or more, and that's if you love and if you have a passion for it. So I can see right away when I watch, I go, that one's being lazy. Nope, yes, because you have to have something, you have to have the whole package. She has the whole package.
Yes, definitely. So one more question that I would like to ask is, what is the greatest thing that wrestling has ever given you?
My character, Hollywood. But it's given me to be myself, not to get taken advantage of. Everybody talks about empowering and all of that, and that's part of it. But it makes you your own woman. It makes you strong, makes you tough. And you can have all those things and still be nice, because that's one thing that I think is so important. Yes, you can be tough and strong, and you can have these, and you can hide behind them, but the most important thing, you guys, is kindness, and I can't stress that more enough. So be yourself, and it makes me myself. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, Katrina, do you have one more question for her?
It's not a question, just mostly like, again, you are a legend, especially when it comes to women's wrestling. And so I just want to thank you for, also leading the way for what we have today.
And that feels so good, because when we did this 36 years ago, nobody was saying that. So thank you all. And if we didn't have you, our fans, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. So we have to have a big thank you to our fans. We love you.
Yes, definitely. Now, of course, we do have all of our content and stuff that you can watch on Women's Wrestling Talk from LA Comic Con. So thank you so much for joining us. And you are a legend in women's wrestling, and we absolutely appreciate everything that you've done to sort of push forth into the future of women's wrestling and what we have today. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes. Yes, of course, this is Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet, live here at LA Comic Con.